I met a version of myself from another reality. What I'm about to tell you will need some introduction and build-up, so please keep that in mind and enjoy the entire read. Let me hear your suggestions and theories below. The Man in the Keyhole. This memory comes from a young age, maybe around 5 to 7 years of age, but for argument's sake, let's just say 6, which would have made the year around 1998 to 1999, born in 93. The house me and my family were staying in at the time was somewhat of an old house, if I could give an estimate of the age from memory. I would say the house was around 20 years old. We were in our second year living in this house, as our home from before burnt down. I was always nervous of this house. The house itself felt really odd. A lot of my childhood paranormal events occurred here. What's strange to mention, when we first arrived at the house, my room in particular had a water boiler in it, but seemingly vanished within the next few days as it became my room. No markings or evidence that was even there in the first place. Edit. As mentioned in my post, I remember seeing a water boiler in my room when we first went to check the house out. This water boiler was actually part of the house. What's strange is, in my memory, the water boiler was still in the room within the first week, and then out of nowhere, seemingly the next day, it vanished. When I asked my parents what happened to it, they said they already removed it before we moved in. Don't you remember? Edit end. This room gave me a lot of problems now that I think of it, which is currently spooking me out as I write this. Strange things would happen there. There would be nights where my basketball would randomly start bouncing in my room, the rocking chair moving back and forth, and perhaps the strangest one, pitch black with a girl who I thought was my sister, poking me and trying to make me go into the backyard. At the time, my sister was with our grandparents, 4 hours away. Anyway, there was one day that I so vividly remember. Still leaves a mark to this day. I was in the kitchen. My mom was cooking. Dad was at the kitchen table. I was starting to get bored and I wanted to go play some games. So I started running off towards my room to play with my toys. What's weird is, my door was closed, when I don't remember on that day the door ever being closed by anyone. But it didn't bother me at the time. I was a kid. I just wanted to play with toys. I tried to turn the doorknob, but it was like someone was trying to hold the doorknob on the other side. They, him, it wasn't using much force though. This stopped me from turning it. I remember trying really hard to open the door, but I stopped and decided to look through the keyhole. It was almost like a mirror. My room was the exact same as it was. My toy chest and bed were in the same location except the mirror of myself standing in the room. What I meant by mirror, it was mirroring my exact movements in the room. How I grabbed the door handle. It also did the same. Both versions of me, with the left hand, and also looked into the keyhole, both with the left eye. I know for a fact it was me, an older version of me. Looked slightly different, perhaps from age. I was staring directly into my own left eye, with my left eye. The moment terrified me. I was almost frozen in place and couldn't move. When I finally started to look away and run towards my mom, I was facing to the right. I remember seeing it. Turn to my left, which was its right, i.e., mirror. I ran towards my mom screaming and crying, "There's someone in my room! There's someone in my room!" My mom brushing it off and showing me nothing's wrong, opens my door with ease. The room was empty. I remember standing there in disbelief, shocked that no one was there. From that point on, I don't really remember anything else. Was it my future self that somehow came to the past to meet me? Or was it another reality merging with mine? Or a glitch in the Matrix? Iced coffee. So here's the thing. I love iced coffee. I make iced coffee every morning. I order iced coffee everywhere I go. I just love the drink. Well, this morning I made my routine iced coffee. I set it down and started doing some homework that's due the next day. I worked out the day before, so I felt sore and more weak than usual. This is important, because when I was reading my assignment, I took a sip and felt significantly weak. My coffee tumbler thing isn't all that heavy, even when coffee's in it. I took a sip and suddenly I dropped my iced coffee onto the floor. I see it spill onto my bag and I cracked the tumbler thing. I see it there. I felt that it dropped. I mutter, fuck. But then when I turn to grab my paper towel to clean up my mess, it isn't on the floor. It's sitting on my table, perfectly fine. I'm freaked. I swear to God, I dropped my coffee and spilled it everywhere. I experienced it. I felt my fingers let go. Yet it's sitting right there, not an ounce on the floor. Well, that sure is strange, isn't it? I wonder what happened.